Well, hey you, and welcome to another episode of the Western Hippie podcast. I have a ton of flies flying around, so if you hear a buzzing, now you know. It was kind of crazy because originally I had this plan to write down or sit down, write all this stuff down about what's happened in the past year because today's my birthday. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm into dates and they give me time to reflect and really pause and think what's happened this year, because I think we are all guilty of just kind of getting caught in the rat race, as they call it. I call it the wash, rinse, repeat cycle since, I don't know, my family's in the dry cleaning industry. That's probably why. And this gave, I feel like our birthdays are a personal New Year's. It gives us this opportunity to pause and really rebirth and rethink, what do we want to do in the next year? And that's definitely what it is for me. And holy Moses, it's kind of wild how much has actually changed in the past year. A year ago today, I was getting ready to go do my first MDMA trip, and that was really my intention, to rebirth myself. And it still seems weird for me to say, I'm getting used to it, but that was my intention. And I'm trying to get used to being weird. How's that? Because I just keep getting weirder. And I didn't think that was possible. I really didn't think that was possible. And then it's God's hold my beer. I'm going to get you even weirder. But yeah, it's been such a journey. And really, when I like to look through pictures of that kind of jogs my memory of, okay, where was I at September 13th, 2021? And then what pictures have I taken since then? And I highly recommend it if you haven't done it. And I even do it at New Year's. iPhones, I don't know about Androids, but you can just type in 2021 or 2020 and really look. And it's kind of weird, but I know how my year went by the amount of photos that I have. Because if I'm taking photos, that's a good thing. If I'm not taking photos, that's not a good thing, because I'm not trying to capture the moment, because I'm trying to go through it so fast. And yeah, anyway, it's wild. So I wanted to just get on here, talk about some reflections. And then I also was thinking, it's kind of crazy, but I had talked about this on the last episode, not my MDMA episodes, but if you go back, it's my recent lesson on trust and letting go. It was on that where I talk about how when I went down to California, I had this experience of going through all these situations I hadn't gone through in years. And it was this opportunity to let go. And that's really what this year has been about. It's been about remembering and then letting go of what is holding me back or no longer serving me, and then becoming what I remembered who I was, if that makes sense. And I'm was it letting go, remembering, and then becoming, or is it letting go, or is it remembering, letting go, and becoming? And that's kind of what it feels like. It's the remember who you are, let go of what you're not, and then become who you really are. And really, once you do the first two steps, once you remember and once you let go, becoming is the automatic, it just happens. It's wild. And if anyone would have told me that the biggest piece of becoming who you are was letting go of who you're not, that sounds duh. That sounds obvious, but I think we're so conditioned or programmed, whether it's through marketing or whatever it is, of no, I have to hold on to this diet, or I have to hold on to this exercise routine, or I have to hold on to this way of life, when it's actually just letting go. And it sounds simpler than I think it is. And like I said, I would not have believed it. Maybe even a year ago, I wouldn't believed it. I mean, maybe I probably would have flirted with the idea, but I would not have accepted it. And so, yeah, anyway, that was a long tangent of now that I'm okay, now that I'm here at 27, holy shit, it's a lot closer to 30 than 25 was. Now that I'm here, what would I have told that 20-year-old self? And 20, I'm picking because that was a big year for me, because that was the year, let's see, September 11th, I moved down to Burbank, and then September 13th, I turned 20. So my 20th year, it was in a different state. It was totally different life. And in a lot of ways, I've been emotionally stuck there because that was one of the best times of my life. And emotionally, I've always been trying to get back to Burbank, but not in a productive way, like in a way that's kept me stuck. So when I was thinking about that, I'm like, man, at 27, if I could go back and talk to my 20-year-old self or my 21-year-old self who just moved back from Burbank, like what would I tell her? And that's really who this episode is for. That's what I want that's who I want this episode to be for, is anyone who is looking to start over again. And specifically, I'm thinking of, people who are graduating or getting ready to graduate, whether that's 18, 19, 20, like those years. To me, those seem like really big transitional years because it's like you get thrown out to the wolves. Like, okay, we've just put you in these little, I'm sorry, but I consider schools prisons for kids. Like, we've just put you in this prison camp for the last 18 years now. Here, you're wild and free out into the world, but we actually haven't taught you any life skills to serve you. And I'm like math. I use math, obviously, but you're not taught how to control your mind or your emotions or how to create skills or how to start a business. It's like, if you want to learn those things, you have to do it on your own. And these are the things that I wish I would have dug deeper in from the get-go. So I wish I would have read more personal development books, not to fix or correct myself, because that's what I was coming at it from, was this need to fix and correct myself. But I wish I would have approached it and read more to understand myself. And that's been the biggest shift for me, is how can I understand myself to then make adjustments or to make shifts or whatever that looks like, not because I'm wrong or bad, but because I want to become who I actually am and not this self-protected version of myself. And so I would have totally dove deeper into the personal development to understand myself. And I also, now, human design has been a game changer for me. I can't believe how much I've learned. So I would also download my human design right away, pay the $5 a month, like skip a cup of coffee or something. It's worth every penny. It's like getting a personalized reading from Jenna Zoe. It's amazing because you can read it or she'll talk to you. There's audio versions of it, which is amazing. And you don't have to take everything in, but even if it's just one thing, like my one center is undefined and I feel a lot of anxiety there. So learning how to get that center like aligned in a productive way, not an unproductive way, because what I was doing was filling it in with other people instead of finding other ways or routines to fill it in myself. So I would learn more about personal development to understand. I would totally dive into human design. I never thought I'd say this ever. I would dive into astrology too. Human design opened my mind to astrology because human design is multiple things, including astrology. But when I read my Mercury sign and my rising sign, I was like, holy Moses, that is insane. It's nuts how much it nailed me. So even if you don't learn anything from it or take anything away from it, I'd do it. I would totally do it. So understanding myself, I would start a business. I would totally start a business. You will learn more about yourself. Even if it's a side hustle and your goal is to make an extra $500 a month, go start a business. And one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me was I was born into a family business, and there's pros and cons to everything. There's pros and cons to being born inside of a family business. But overall, like the mindset, and if you were raised in a military family, there might be some of this, but it's like this thinking of like there's benefits and consequences to everything. Like even if you drink too much water, there's people that have internally drowned. Is that a very rare case scenario? Obviously, but it's this benefit consequence thinking of let's lay out our situations and know which one has benefits and which one has consequences. And with businesses, that's the greatest thing, is you get real-time feedback. Like, is this working or is this not working? It's not a personal attack. It's like, nope, that was the wrong offer. Let me put something out again. And I really think that nothing builds confidence in yourself like a business can. And it can also destroy, absolutely. But if you do it in the right way and the right intentions, and if you learn how to make money, like my dad always said, if you have to go pick up dog crap at the local dog park, do it. Like, know how to make money, because if you know how to do that, like everything else basically takes care of itself. So I would learn to understand about myself. I would start a business. I would travel. I would travel as much as I can. Nothing has taught me more about myself than travel. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say other than, especially while you're young, if you don't have a partner, if you do have a partner, great, but go travel. And if you can travel alone, even if you do have a partner, I think it's good for both of you, because then for me, it was like, who am I when I'm not around other people? And this is a minor thing, but maybe you don't like ranch on your pizza, but everyone else has ranch on their pizza. And so you've just always done it. And then you go out to a pizza place by yourself and you're like, wait, do I even like this? Or do I just do it? It's all these little things of just questioning, like, do I even like this? Or have I just been told that I like this my whole life? And those little shifts can really help you figure out different pieces of yourself. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would do. Travel, business, learning about myself. Yeah. All the other stuff for me really came later, but in hindsight, those were like the 3 foundational pieces of how I got here. And one little thing opened my mind, which led me to trying psychedelics. And then like another thing opened my mind, which led me into more of a spiritual hippie journey. And then another thing opened my mind, and it was just this like domino effect. But those 3 things would be where I would start. And from the like personal development, don't be afraid to read things and not agree with them. One of the meditate, like I guess is a 4th thing that I would probably add is meditation. But the guy I do meditations with, learn from, he does free meditations Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's Master Co. He does them in the morning and in the afternoon, and they're amazing. And discernment is one of the things that he talks about. Like, go learn discernment, learn how to think for yourself of, does this serve me? Does this not? And don't be afraid to let things go. I was so afraid to let go of things because I was afraid that nothing better would come in, or like this was the best I was ever going to get. So I might as well hang on to it as hard as I can. But in hanging on to those things, I was pushing away even better opportunities. And so I would learn how to let go for sure. I don't have answers on learning how to do it because I'm still learning how to do it in real time. And then I would tell myself to ask for help. I would also tell myself to learn how to trust myself and trust God or the universe, to build really good friendships. Like in this last year, I don't know what I would have done without some of my best friends and my sister. And I would really focus on building strong relationships. If you don't have a dog, get a dog. It's kind of crazy. I had a spiritual guidance session this morning, and there was this one period that we went back to in my life, and I was like, I didn't have a dog. And that was a lot lonelier. Like there's just something, you haven't fully lived until you've had a good dog. And I don't know that there's bad dogs, but, I would also, back to the astrology, we're in Mercury retrograde right now. And I follow Deborah Silverman on Instagram. If you don't follow her, I highly recommend it. But a lot of people can look at Mercury retrograde negatively, but she actually is like, no, it's a time for reflection and looking back at the things and maybe grabbing some of the things you left behind. And so maybe there's some dreams from your childhood that are still active within you that want to be created and you've left them behind. So maybe that's what travel has also done for me. It's gave me this time to reflect. And maybe if you're listening to this, maybe this is a sign that to go do some reflecting and, what pieces or dreams or parts of myself have I left in the past that I actually need to bring to the present moment. Gosh, what else would I tell? This is why I was going to write it down. But then as I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, I want to do this off the cuff, which, here we are. Tony Robbins. I would watch Tony Robbins. I'm Not Your Guru on Netflix. I would watch that over and over and over again. learn some kind of healing modality. I just think there's so much power in having sovereignty over your own well-being. Overall, I would totally learn some kind of healing, whether it's a quick massage class or energy healing. I just took a class called Voila, which I'm going to do a whole podcast on it, but that was transformational for me. See what else? I'd learn to get comfortable being weird, because obviously I'm still struggling with that a little bit. I would learn to play. I'm not very good at playing, so I'm learning that in real time. That's interesting. I'd create so much. There's a book called The Artist's Way. I haven't finished it yet, but I've done the morning pages from it, and I've done the artist states from it, and just that's been transformational. So I would create, and I would create even more. If you have a type of communication style that you love, whether it's making videos or talking or blogging, like writing, speaking, or creating videos, I would do it. I mean, whatever it is, just do it and learn how to do it for you and for the sake of creation. And one of the ideas I've been playing around with is this idea of becoming a trendsetter and not a trend follower. If you need to get comfortable, by all means, like find a trending audio or something and go create a TikTok or an Instagram reel, but also learn how to create your own stuff. Like maybe you do 25% audios from other people and 75% of stuff that you created, because we need more of you and less of a trend set version of you. Now more than ever, I think we need creativity. We need people that can build and heal. And we have so many people trying to heal the world with broken hearts, and they're creating an even more broken world. And I really do believe that the most important thing that we can have is a whole heart trying to heal the world, because we have enough destruction and we need more creativity. We need you. And that was like, yeah, actually, I think that's what I would go back and tell my 20-year-old self now. It's like, we need you, and we need you at your best. And so go figure out who that is and go be that. And that's where we're at here at 27. So I'm getting ready to go on a trip to go see my best friend from Brazil. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. And a year ago and 2 years ago, I would not have said that. And a lot can change in a year if we really decide to take the leap and just go for it. So anyway, I think I'm going to call that a wrap for today. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, happy birthday to any other of my Virgo sisters and brothers out there. And I don't know. I have no sign off yet. So I need to make a sign off. That is my birthday to-do list. Create a sign off for the Western hippie, because yeah, we're just a bunch of hippies. Wait, what's we're just a bunch of hippies in a rhinestone world. That's where we're going to leave it at. So, okay. I love you. Goodbye and happy birthday.